Many of you must be wondering why China still hasn't come to Iran's rescue. After all, it is the single largest buyer of Iranian oil, and they even have a strategic agreement from 2021. But to really understand China's motives, we must look into the history of its military interventions. After World War II, Korea was divided into a communist north and an American-backed south. On June 25, 1950, the North attacked the South. The United States intervened. American soldiers and its allies quickly pushed North Korea close to the Yalu River on the border with China. Up till this point, China was not part of the conflict, but it had warned that its borders must not be violated. The American military commander General Douglas MacArthur ignored those warnings. In retaliation, China sent hundreds of thousands of soldiers across the border. They fought alongside the North Koreans and pushed American soldiers beyond the 30th parallel line, which is now the de facto border between South and North Koreas. Now let's look at the other war where China intervened. Much like Korea, Vietnam also shares a border with China, and they both have a history going back hundreds of years when Vietnam was the domain of different Chinese dynasties. The Vietnam War was fought from 1955 to 1975. China entered the war in a big way only 10 years after the conflict broke out, when the American soldiers landed in Vietnam. Beijing could not afford to have American military right at its border. It sent hundreds of thousands of engineers. They helped rebuild roads, bridges and railroads, which played a decisive role in driving out the Americans. Many analysts don't realize that China does not have allies or alliances in a way that the United States has with NATO or Japan. We must also not overestimate China's capacity to operate in the Middle East. China was one of the signatories to the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, but it could not do anything to help Iran when Donald Trump walked out of that agreement. China also had a strategic partnership agreement with Syria's Bashar al-Assad, yet it watched from the sidelines as the Assad regime crumbled. While China imports a lot of Iranian oil, it imports far more from Arab countries. Similarly, China's investments in Iran are negligible compared to its commitments in Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states, which Iran has been bombing since the war broke out on February 28. China cannot afford to upset the United States either. The US remains the single largest export market for Chinese goods, larger than the entire Middle East. So it's unlikely that the Chinese dragon is going to burn its wings in this Middle Eastern fire anytime soon. Thank you for watching this video.